Cô ơi cho xin cốc trà đá với ạ. Cho cốc trà đá nhé.
Hi everyone, welcome to Beyond Chat, our podcast of Lay and Chami. Today I am in London and I'm sitting next to Anj, my colleague at Epsilon, and also we are calling to Dubai. Very special guest today, Harshini. The topic today we're going to talk about familiar, pattern of how our family want us to act a certain way, or we were dating and then see that okay we go in the same huddle. So I think it's very interesting to talk about marriage in the Asian culture and what pressure of that the society put on women. And also our guest today have a very special story to tell about her love story.
My name is Harshini. I've actually lived in the UAE since I was about 4 years old. And before that, I lived in Oman. So you could say I've never really lived in India, which is my home country, for more than 1.5 years of my life.
Mm-hmm.
So I normally look at myself as somebody who's pretty much half a camel because of the UAE. I've done my school, university, everything here. And now, since I've reached the so-called marriageable age considered in my community, that's the next step to my life.
Yeah. And Ansh, you the same, right?
So like Harshini, I was also pretty much born and brought up in Dubai. I moved there, I think, when I was about 6 months, and I moved to Canada in 2018. So I think a lot of my thoughts began to get a little bit westernized, and the way I approach things. For example, the thought of living together when I first moved to Canada, I would never have considered ever doing that, because I was brought up in a culture where you don't do something like that, because you just get married and then you move in with them. You don't live with a boy unless you're married to them.
Yeah.
But then now, after 8 years in Canada and then coming to the UK, where it's so prevalent, a lot more than even in Canada, it's just, I think my mindset has really changed. And I think I projected a lot of it onto Harshini as well when she first told me about her situation.
You tell us about your story, because Anj told us that your story is very special.
I'm actually having an arranged marriage. I'm not marrying my boyfriend, and we actually have a website where it's, well, I mean, a layman's term would be like a Tinder for parents. That's the easiest way I can explain it, so you'd understand. So what you do is that,
that's so
yes, so you have the profile of your children. Yes, so basically the profile about you has your birth star, which is we have an Indian term for it. You have that, you have some basic details about, like for me, it said that I'm here in UAE, and it talked about my university, then how many years of work experience I had, in what field I've been working in, what my interests are. So, and you also have the same thing for the boys.
So finally, you met your fiancés online as well, and then
it was through this website. It was through this website, and I've actually met his parents. I've actually met his parents more often than I met him, because I haven't met him face to face yet. Because we were supposed to meet each other face to face last year. But as you know, the pandemic happened.
How do you feel when you talk to somebody on the phone and then video call them? How's the feeling build up?
Well, you first start with, there actually is a process for when you speak to a person in the arranged marriage route. So the first day you talk about, pretty much random things, just to see whether you are immediately uncomfortable with them or not, because you have that as well. You need to be comfortable with the person that you're going to spend the rest of your life with. So then after that, you slowly start talking about likes and dislikes. And then once you move ahead, then you start talking about the serious stuff, like the finances.
So you had a engagement party with him over Zoom, right?
It was the thing in our society is that it's not a full engagement. It's kind of similar to the Islamic one, where they have something called as a nikah. So there is actually a document which is signed, which is a written. Well, I wouldn't call it a contract, but I think you can call it that because it's legal and binding.
Oh, I have a question for Anj. So you date an English man now. Have your dad looking his
Is he still looking for someone for me?
yeah.
They still keep bringing up the conversation a lot. They aren't ready to accept my boyfriend.
Okay.
And I don't think they would ever be ready to accept him, honestly. But the last time when I went, they didn't bring up the conversation, which I was surprised. But I think it's because Harshini's situation was progressing. So they thought, I think they're ready to hit me in at her wedding when everyone is going to come and ask me, because I'm older than Harshini. So technically I should have been getting married before her.
Yeah.
So everybody's going to be coming after me like with a stick or like with pictures of men like, here's an option for you. But they've already found 2 guys. I refuse to speak to them. And I think that kind of went away. So I'm sure if they find more guys, they'll keep bringing it to me.
But if you don't have a boyfriend now,
I would speak to them.
Okay, you would speak
I don't
to them.
think there's anything wrong with arranged marriages. Like in our family, most of our parents' generations have had, everyone in our parents' generation have had arranged marriages. And I've seen successful ones where like couples are really in love still.
Yeah.
And I've seen ones where they're okay, they're not too happy,
Yeah.
but like they're staying together because society would like, look down on them if they split up.
Oh, so you like divorce is no.
Divorce is a big no-no.
It's a big no-no.
So
like that's the last option.
Yeah.
So Harshini, like for example, like when you go on a date with many dates with like I don't know, a few months with your future husband before your wedding day, but then after the wedding day, then for example, like this is he could be like nasty to you, and so could you divorce him?
Of course I could.
You could, yes.
Yes, of course. No, see, the thing is that while our parents were the previous generation, things have changed now. The world has changed now. And you do not, like, you put your kids' happiness more, you put that ahead of what society may think.
Yeah.
Because with this case being an arranged marriage, if something actually happens like this, my parents would be the first ones to say, come back right now. There's no need for you to stay there.
Someone like that.
Oh, okay, I get it now. Yeah. So your parents really care.
And and not just mine, like everyone in our family, this is how it would be. Even if something happens, you'll always have somewhere to come back to. And no one will ask you any questions and no one can talk about it. Because if someone else talks about it, my parents will just, like shut them up instantly. And so would my aunts and uncle, and you have all of these. So that divorce is an option now. But it's only if the person's like really bad and if there's something that really cannot be tolerated. Because if this is actually something I did speak to my parents already about. That if something really bad happens, are you going to let me come back home, or are you going to just ditch me? Because this has happened to a friend of mine who had an arranged marriage, and the boy turned out to be abusive. And her parents have sort of said, you're married, it's your family, it's your problem. So this was the same scenario that I put to my parents, and the first thing my mom said was that I will call his mom first and give her a firing, and my dad said I will come there with a stick.
Go on, girl.
So that's how it's done now.
Yeah, thank you so much for your sharing. I've learned a lot today. Maybe one day I can visit you in Dubai.
Or Canada.
Please do.
Yeah, you're going to move to Canada after.
Or Canada.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yes, I would be.
And wish you all the
Thank
luck
you.
for your wedding.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Harshini, and thank you, Anj.
Yeah, thank you, Shami.
Great chat.